Hello again, welcome to another Green Dragons Gaming Club. Without us, they never feel like winners. Without them, we couldn't look so good. So again, we're based out of Westchester, Pennsylvania, just literally west of Philadelphia. If you live in South Delaware, uh, North, North Delaware, South Jersey, around Deptford area, again, around Philadelphia areas, particularly the west side or southwest side, out to say Lancaster, Northeast Maryland. Do me a favor, reach out to us. We're always looking for like-minded individuals and players to help grow our group. And we play in stores, we play in people's basements. The whole thing is we just like to play. So and I know you usually see me with the same guys because, again, we used to be very heavily, easily good 16 guys playing Warhammer Fantasy Battles. And since then, especially with the death of Warhammer Fantasy, Ninth Age is starting to pick up a little bit more with the group, but a lot of them did move on to other things. So they're starting to get their armies out of mothballs. And hopefully you'll see me with some different to you guys on the channel, some newer opponents. But I'm also about ready to start a small campaign, a map-based campaign. So you're going to start seeing some different army lists, like some skewed army lists, like 3,000 or 2,900 points versus 2,500 points, and army lists along those lines. So ought to be real interesting, a lot of fun for when we do that campaign. And you'll see the battle reports up here on YouTube. So today we have a fun battle between Ogre Cons, played by Brett. So I think it's his second game or third game with this army. And again, I'm playing my Dwarven holds, and that's the list I've been playing now for about a month and a half, 2 months now. And I will not change that army until they're painted. So that's probably going to be another 10 to 15 years, knowing my own time limitations. For those of us who have lives, married, kids, work, jobs, other curricular activities, it gets up there. So I'm just happy I have time to sit down in my basement and make these lovely videos. So here's my Ogre Con list, or his Ogre Con list. I won't lie, that huge unit of tridesmen that you see there, the Banner of Speed, and of course mercenary vets. I hate mercenary vets. It's a love-hate relationship. I think they're fantastic. If you make them kitted out hand-to-hand combat-wise and then just give them pistols, that to me is the way the merc vet's supposed to be. The +1 ballistic skill poison. Ugh. I hate that. That one gets under my skin. But otherwise, I hate that seeing the unit on the board because it's so good. It would. I fear putting anything up against those units. If you play ogres, you need to play with at least one unit of mercenary vets. And those of you who follow are tremendous. I like the way he kits his out. Brett goes full in for that hand-to-hand combat with them. Bombardiers to me are gold. I have to ask, when did ogres get as good or almost as good as elves in shooting? I mean, the mercenary vets having BS of 5. The bombardiers basically hitting you on 4s or 5s because they don't care about moving. They don't care about multi-shot. They just only care about distance and cover. That's it. So I mean, those units can put up to 18 shots just for 3 of them. Just for 3. Average 9 or 10, sometimes low, sometimes high. Problem is, you get that high roll, that's a lot of shots. A unit of 12 tridesmen with the full command, and they had the Iron Fist, so again, it's +1 armor, parry, and I guess it counts as a paired weapon, so +1 attack. That's brutal. I see this huge block on the board. I don't want to go anywhere near it. His characters, they are what they are. I mean, you can see what they are, and again, the two pigs. I know they're saber-tooths. I just call them pigs because he feels pigs. Why not? So bring on the bacon. So here's my Dwarven hold list. I'll give you a moment. Okay, Dwarven whole list. If you notice, there are no war machines. And because I didn't play with it in either list, either the one I just posted recently or this one here after I looked at my army builder list, I gave Deep Watch the Banner of Dismay, and I forgot to play it both times. So when that unit is charged, you get to subtract d6 inches from your opponent. I screwed it up, so that's why you don't see it listed here. But I did actually waste points, unfortunately. The reason why I'm going this way without the war machines is my opponents so far have been saying my war machines are just like not broken, but completely changes the style of the game and meaning of the game to them. And I'm like, all right, you know what? Why not? I'll make a list, and here it is. It's a decent list. It's not my playstyle, but it's a decent list. So, dwarves get turn 1. So here's our deployment. We actually ended up with doing a diagonal deployment, and then we did vanguards. And because I finished deploying first, because he's out deploying me. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There should be another dog somewhere. 7 with characters, 8 drops. I had 7 drops, so, or maybe he had 9 drops. And I'm looking, I'm like, you know what? No, I'm going to just turn around. I was about maybe 2 drops in. I'm like, I'm just putting everything, and I'll let you react. See what you do. And so I move everything up. Again, I have no vanguards in this list, so I'm throwing the warriors out there. I know what Yetis can do. He only fields 2 Yetis, but I know what Yetis can do to normal infantry. They can be beasts. They can wreck me. So I'm putting him up there because I want him to charge in with the Yetis into the warriors and let the bears eat them. Okay, the bears are over on that side. That's a good hefty point unit. It's a 375 point unit. And I really think that I could do a number to those Yetis. Otherwise, I guess it might be a little tough to see because he doesn't have everything painted yet. There is a character in the lake all the way in the back that scouted, so it's 18 inches away from me. And the mercenary vets Vanguard or had Vanguard on them. Did I miss anything? Not to my knowledge. All right. So Ogre's turn 1. He kind of sits back. He doesn't really do much. So here's he edges up a little bit. He chats me up with a pig in front of my warriors. He slides the Yetis off to the side there. I didn't know why. I don't know why he did that. And then I asked him afterwards. He's like, the reason why I put the Yetis all the way out to the side is if you charge them, it's taking your bears out of the equation. You don't have anything back there for me to go war machine hunting. You have no war machines. So what am I going to do? Send them over towards your towards the guys with the handguns and get shot the living piss? Or you turn around and throw your seekers up against them? No. So he turned around. He had them go that way. I'm like, all right, I can understand that. I can respect that answer. And he turns around. So that's how many. Yeah, you can see how he's rolling. Those were 2 of his 3 dice that he rolled for shots. So I originally had 12 handgunners. I lose 3. So now it's dwarves turn 2. I get the charge in. Of course I charged the pig there. And the bears actually do a long bomb charge against the Yetis. And that's it. So, again, besides forgetting about the Banner of Dismay, which I'm bitter of myself that I forgot about that, I moved Chucky out of his unit. And the reason why is I wanted Chucky to threaten that side, and I haven't changed Chucky at all, but I wanted him to threaten the side of that Ogre unit without being seen. And if he was seen, I wasn't really worried about him. And let's see. Then I wanted the Seekers to turn around and threaten the Hunter sitting in my rear arc back there. So that's why I ended up splitting the unit. I won't lie, it's a mistake on my part. It really, really is. Chucky is a hammer. He's a wonderful hammer. He's getting at least 6 attacks, strength 7 on the charge. He's doing 2 wounds to monstrous. So it's like this is his a dream come true. He's going to start hacking things off at the knees. However, he's a glass hammer. He's a glass cannon. He's got all that shooting right there that he can easily just turn around, do so many different shots. All he has to do is roll a couple of sixes, 3 sixes. I only have a 6-up ward on him. He's dead. That's 260 points down the toilet right there. So that was definitely an error on my part. So Magic, I think I put I may have gotten nothing off, or it was like do not hit, -1 to hit or -1 to wound. Those are my only 2 spells. So my warriors, of course, kill the pigs. My Whole Guardians easily turn around and kill the Yetis. So now it's going to be Ogre's turn 3. He gets a massive charge in. So if you see my deep watch all the way on the left-hand side, and someone pointed this out to me last time on my last video I just did, and I have been playing Greybeards wrong. So I have to actually tell my friend that I cheated him a little bit, and that was unknowns to me. Is Greybeards way back when it was still made by Games Workshop, were immune to panic, and any units within 6 inches could reroll panic. And now they're immune to psychology. That's huge. I can't use them as fleers. I may actually have to take them out of my list because they're there. They're a good unit, but they're there to turn around and be able to redirect, run away when need be. So I may just end up putting a unit of 10 warriors in their place with hand weapon shield. I don't know, because I like having that weapon skill 5, strength 4, toughness 4, but the thing is when I have my army on this board, I have many small units, but I also have 2 medium-sized units. Or actually, or 3 medium-sized units. So I need to use my redirectors to the best of my ability. And if you can't flee, you're losing part of movement. You're losing part of the game. So again, I fled with my Greybeards. I did not know that. I know that now. I will definitely let Brett next time I see him, which will be this Saturday at his bachelor party. So congratulations, Brett, if you're watching. I am looking forward to that. And let's see. He turns around. Well, let me go through some pictures here. So here's a picture of what's going on. So I did get that -1 to hit. So he has the hunter coming up from the rear. He's got that unit of 12 tribesmen with his characters coming up from the front, and he charged in the pig. He had to charge the pig in order to get the rest of the ogres involved. Because if not, the pig was chaffing up his own troops. And honestly, I didn't care about the pig. I really didn't care about the pig the entire combat. And over here for shooting, he turns around and kills 3 of my warriors, and he put 1 wound on Chucky. So he and I were speaking after the game because he complained a lot about Chucky. And yeah, he's mean. He is one of the nastiest combat lords in the game when he hits you if he's going first. But he still has to go first. I think assassins, or if you give other guys the potion of speed, they're going before Chucky is kitted out for. But here's the thing is, he chose to shoot the warriors rather than move, because moving doesn't affect his shooting, and shoot at Chucky. So he killed 3 warriors, did 1 wound to Chucky. That could have been easily 4 wounds, possibly to Chucky, in which case he's dead. That's all I can say. Maybe I make one of those 6-up ward saves, and he's dead. So unfortunately, that was an error that he and I did talk about after the game. But it's... I don't know. I don't remember if it comes back to bite him that he lives or not. So over here, here's how that combat goes. He devastates that unit. That unit was originally 20 strong, or with the king, with a what is he, runesmith. But here's the but. You turn around, and I'm stubborn. I have 2 characters in that unit. They're not going anywhere rolling off a 10. He doesn't have anything that causes fear. Or if he does, it's like, all right, I get to roll a 9. So they're sitting there. They're loving it. He put 3 wounds on my king. 3 wounds. To me, that's saying a lot for his general, who I think was striking at strength 7. Or something silly like that. And the reason why I say that is you have to re-roll your wounds because I have resistance on him. I have a 1-up armor. And on top of all that, I think I had a 4-up ward save first round of combat. And he did have Divine Icon, but he just did a lot of wounds. I did 1 wound to his general, and I did 1 wound to the guy in the rear, and I put 1 or 2 on the ogres. I think I did kill a couple of... Yeah, I did kill 2 of the ogres, but still. And meanwhile, my king and his general, his Great Khan... I can't because it's Lord Tremendous. It's just, again, and I always think of Star Trek too. But his Great Khan is just sitting there, and they're wailing on each other. So they're in a challenge. So that's it. I lost combat. I stuck. Dwarves turn 3. And I guess I had rallied during my turn 2 with my other dwarves. I just didn't change them because I figured he was going to be charging. I wanted to take care of that character. So if you look, I did countercharge with the Seekers in the rear and the Greybeards in the flank. I charged up the front to one of his shooting units with the Warriors. And that's it. Otherwise, I moved up my whole Guardians. I moved up my Bears. And that's how the board looks. So here's that combat. You see what's going on. I have the -1 to hit. And there's that charge. So they fled. The reason why they fled is, if you notice, there's no longer 3 of them. I shot 1 of them. And they failed their leadership. I think their leadership's 7 or 8. They fail their leadership, they run away. Close combat, I do 2 wounds, he does 3 wounds, but I have a charge. I remember I did have to roll my dice, so he won combat, but they didn't care. I think he had a musician with him, and we tied. And over here, I have -1 to wound on that unit now because of the helmet. So I did 6 wounds or something like that to kill 2 of his ogres in the back, and of course I killed that monstrosity that was touching the back of my unit, and I lost 2 of my guys. I mean, he threw everything he had against the unit there, against the Deep Watch, because that's what's stubborn, that's what's keeping my king there, and my king is slowly picking up the Great Khan. There's another wound on the Great Khan. And there comes the mercenary vets, so I'm going to do a combat reform, and you'll see that in a picture in just a moment. So there's my combat reform on the far side on the left, where I knew the vets were going to hit me. I might as well give him a frontage so he doesn't keep charging into stuff, and I set the Seekers behind them. I knew I didn't have a chance. That's all I can say is I knew there was no chance that the Greybeards were going, especially only 10 Greybeards, would survive against that large and that kitted out unit of mercs. That unit of mercs is a handful. My compliments to my opponent for putting together such a nasty little list, especially in close combat. I didn't want to go anywhere near it. So let's see here. Otherwise, I move up. Chucky's coming around the corner, and I failed to do a wound to him. He does kills my remaining 2 guys. Over here, kills 2. Kills more than 2. Kills them all. None shall live. And he overruns with them. Still not sure why he decided to overrun with them. It's not like he's going war machine hunting, but he decides to overrun. So now it's Dwarves turn 4. I'm sorry, let me go back a turn. So there's that. So here's that combat. there where so he overruns, killed a whole bunch, another couple of ogres. He killed some more of my deep watch, but not as many as if I hadn't had that spell up. So now it's dwarves turn 4. What happened here was I charged the one unit that finished killing my warriors. They fled. Okay. Then they run through the unit that had just rallied, the other unit of handgunners. They fled. So they both end up going off the board. And just like, that is rotten luck. Unfortunately, that's how the dice went for them. Is they broke, they ran, and the other guys kept running too. Because of that, they had rally, but then they thought better of it and said, "We're out of here, Khan. You're on your own." So here's that combat. As I said, he overruns with the mercenary vets. He's up against my 6. And the only reason why there's 6 Seekers is it was the computer program, and I didn't double check it. My own fault. But then again, I completely forgot about my banner on that unit, which would have prevented this whole thing. And, yeah, kicking myself. Just flat out kicking myself. But in return, I did forget that Greybeards are immune to psychology. So there's that combat going on. If you see up over the middle Ogre there, it's a little bit of orange, a little bit, because my Demon Seeker is finally into combat. So if you notice, I have 6 Seekers up against the Mercenary Vets. I have a total of 5 Deep Watch remaining. The King and his Khan are stuck in combat. And I have a Runesmith, not much, but you know, he's a Runesmith. And I have Evil Chucky in the back. Next pitch. I have -1 hit on me as well. That is a lot of dead ogres. Just a lot of dead ogres. That's all I can say is Chucky obliterated, just flat out obliterated all those units. And finally, my king kills his Khan. So, but he's still steadfast. Ogre's turn 4. That combat's still going on. And he's down to his one big main unit with his mage there in the middle. And his mercs. So, dwarves turn 5. As you can see, he's moving his mercs down. Nothing I can do about it. I'm moving my guys up. I'm moving my bears over. And that's it. Shooting-wise, turn around. Took out one of his ogres there, which are just tridesmen. And this combat, so he loses the last 3 guys. He lost his general due to the challenge the turn previously. So that there, I believe, is his BSB. He's no longer stubborn. I'm winning combat. They're going to run. And so now it's Ogre's turn 5. I lied. He didn't ran. He stayed. I even took a picture of it. He rolled a 3. That's what he needed. And he rolled a 3 on 2 dice. It's not impossible, just improbable. So now it's Dread Elf's turn 6. And I don't know what happened. I'm pretty sure... Oh, they fled. That's what it is. So I charged his tribesmen there in the middle of the board. They flee. They run through the difficult terrain, which is the impassable terrain. So they know that they're failing on a 1, 2, or 3. I think I did 1. Maybe I did 1, and he let me roll. I rolled high. I failed to roll low. And that was just brutal. So the end of the day, they're fleeing. I'm pretty sure he does rally them. But the game's pretty much over. He's got his mercenary vets, and that moves into my territory for breakthrough. And that's it. So results are Dwarven holds victory, and it was a 14-6 victory. You know, kudos to my opponent. Again, he's a new player in terms of this army, not new player in general. And he has some of that list building down perfectly. Now it's going to be utilizing them, and I have full faith in Brett that he's going to turn around. And this is actually, I think, an army for him. He plays High Elf or Highborn Elves. He plays Empire. Neither one, I think, has the survivability, the hitting power, and because and maneuverability, and because of that, this is more for him. And it's not just maneuverability in general, because again, you do have Highborn elves, but it's the combination and how it's all utilized and able to go with one another. That's why I think he's really going to be in for the orcs, or the ogres, for quite a while. And give him time, he'll have them all painted much faster than I get my dwarves painted, and it's going to be a pleasure to see on the board. So for my MVPs of this game, of course, my Demon Seeker, Chucky ripped apart, just absolutely ripped apart anything he touched, any unit he touched. Need 4 dead, 12 dead. He was a little dwarven Cuisinart. And for the ogre cons, the mercenary vets, I mean, come on, they hit like a brick. I didn't even get a single swing, not one swing, with my Longbeards. So bravo to building them that way. Bravo for them actually doing what they promised in close combat. And bravo to my opponent for he made the mercenary vets the style and way that he felt they should be played, not the poison and the hand with the pistols +1 to hit, or +1 lift skill, I should say. And no, they're monsters. Even Phil the other way, but he's like, no, it's not the way. It feels very ogre-y. So he still goes with the theme. And just bravo to my opponent, especially considering it's his third game with the army, or second or third game with that army. I think he performed well. Again, if it wasn't for Chucky, oh my God, it would be a completely different game. Chucky flat out won me the game. And that's it. So thank you so much for listening. Until next time, bye.